many people have wrote down the number of tears that our people have shed? How many people have wrote down the number of loaves of bread that we've had to share? How many people have wrote down when they were all cooped up in one house, 3 or 4 generations laying next to each other head to foot, trying to make it, never knowing where the next meal may come from? How many people have wrote down that their granny died at 93 or 94 with a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate degree? How many people have wrote down the things that they actually cared about? See, no one really takes the time to write down the things that they care about. It's easy to say, oh, I love this, I like that, I want to do this, I could pursue that. But when are we going to take the time to write it down? How long does it take before you keep saying and you continue to keep saying before you start to write it down? And this is a philosophy I'm just talking about and I'm learning myself. But how many times do we have to say it and forget it before we actually write it down? How many times does the Lord have to continue to put it on our heart before we actually write it down? See, we continue to ignore the fact that we pursue our dreams without the lack of writing it down. Therefore, we have no daily goals to continue to maintain, to strive for, because there's nothing on paper to see. All we continue to maintain is the words that we give and the expressions that we tell each other, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm on my way to doing this, but have you wrote it down? See, no one wrote down the real pain of our ancestors. Now, some have tried, some have conquered at doing the best that they could to maintain or to try to write these pressures, but no one can really write those pressures. You can pick a slave from any time, any day, from whenever, all the way up to now. You can tell them to write, but no one, they can write, they can give you their verbal expression of what happened. But the words, it still never really discovers the deep-rooted pain. Because I can tell you something all day, but you can comprehend it, you can empathize it, you may be able to sympathize it with it. But do you understand the pain? You see, that's where our ancestors, and that's where we lack. We fail to still understand the pain. And that's what causes us, a lot of us, to mental block, to mental stop, to just, because we still don't understand the root of our pain. What did we go through to change who we are? What situation happened to make us what we are today? What was that pain? Because it was some pain there. Whether you lived in a rich house, middle class, lived in the slums, projects, subsidized housing, whatever you want to call it, it was some pain there. Something had to stiffen you up to make you the man or the woman that you are today. But did you write it down? Everything you do in your life, we got to write it down. Got to write it down. We got to write it down. Remember, write it down.